Hey guys, what's up and welcome back to a new video on this channel. Today we are focusing on a statistics and graphs app because for quite a while actually, we didn't incorporate any graphs into our designs. So I would really like to do this today, and today on Monday and on Wednesday, we will have these tutorials about graphs in apps in user interface design. So let's open up Sketch, let's open up a new document and hit A to create a new artboard. So yeah, whatever. Create a new artboard, and we are going for an iPhone 7. Of course, I will also enable keystrokes so you can see what I'm typing like this right now. You should see it in the bottom corner. Okay, there we go. So we have this artboard, and of course one of the first things actually when we are working with iPhones is to of course have a background color, and directly after choosing a background color, which will be maybe this blue or like a red background looks also kind of cool. Directly after that we are going to go new from template, and we are choosing the iOS UI design because of course we will need a status bar. So I copied that and paste it onto the artboard, and using this icon right here, or basically any other icon in this row, we can simply position it at the top or at the bottom. So it's really useful and helpful. So yeah, that's the status bar which we will use, and the whole UI today will consist of different cards. Now, apps like Tinder and so on have these cards in which you can really swipe up, swipe down to get to the new one. And we will incorporate this into today's user interface. Okay, so hit U to create a new rounded rectangle, and it should be around like this. The size should be around like this, and the color should be white without a border. Okay, I would like to reduce the radius a little bit, maybe to 4 pixels. That looks kind of good. And we are giving it a shadow. The shadow should have just 0, 0 and a blur amount of like 10. We can of course also just change the opacity a little bit, and we will simply copy this rectangle 2 times so we can create this card look. So just select the top cards like that, and give them some spacing, and change the size of the cards which are in the background just a little bit so they look smaller than the one which is in the front, and simply select this lock icon right here so we can simply change one of the values and the other one is changing as well like that. I think we have to make it a little bit smaller. What is the size of this one? It's 312. Let's go to 300, and this one will be 306 like that. Okay, so let's have a look. So we have some cards already, but I think we should still make them somehow smaller. So I'm going to 290. Oops, you have to hit enter of course to submit it, and this one could also be like 300. So then position it at the center again and drag up your cards just like that. So this looks also already kind of good. I think let's reduce the spacing a little bit, just like that. I think that looks really good. So now we have these cards, and I would like to group them up and call them cards. So I'm kind of lazy when it comes to layer names, of course, I guess you know that. So we are simply renaming them today. So having the same name, and this is the one in the front, which will be also grouped up front card. So this is the one we will focus on, of course. And what I'm going to do is to create a new rectangle, and I will place it just above the card, just like that. We will simply select the background card layer and hit mask. So we have this mask right there, and I'm going to change the background color to the color which we are using in our background. And we could simply leave it like that, or we could also say, maybe let's lighten it up a little bit, or let's make it even darker. Yeah, I think lighten it up. Have a lighter red color like that. That looks kind of good. Okay, so this is the red overlay. And what we're going to do now is to add some more information. So as I said, this is a statistics app, and the app is basically showing you some of your expenses, so some of your like credit card information and so on. So we are simply adding a new layer card statistic like that. A statistic, I would like to make it uppercase. I think we can also do this right here. Yeah, we can also transform it using the settings, but yeah, also working like this. So make it a little bit smaller, and let's now just center it up like that. So we have it as our headline. And the next thing that we're going to create is, of course, a graph. As I said at the beginning of this video, we are going to create graphs. And we simply select the vector tool and start out somewhere right here for the starting point, and then go over to maybe this position, click and drag to get such a nice curve. So we could either way do this or do that. Basically, just try to get some nice curves and to make a great design, just like that. Boom. Just about like that. Okay, so this is the curve which we are working with. Finish editing. And now we can simply fill the stroke. So we simply have to hit border. And we can also increase the thickness to like that. And of course, we can also work with our like points which we have right here afterwards. So you simply double click your graph and it will enable you to work with it again. So this is kind of easy. You can simply work with that, as I said. We can also increase it like that. And after we finish this graph, and somehow I don't actually like it, I would like to start out again. Maybe let's create a new one. And maybe let's just start out by working with graphs, just like that. I think creating graphs isn't that easy actually, because of course they should work kind of naturally. So they should look kind of naturally, which isn't sometimes that easy. So you can also hit V to create a new vector. And when working with graphs, it also is very important to make them look natural. So maybe let's go like this, like that, like this, like that. Okay, so I think this one looks better. Let's just also add the stroke, the border, and increase the thickness. I think this one, the second one, looks good. yeah, I think that this one really looks better for us for the purpose of this tutorial, just like that. And I would like to add some indicators at the peaks and also at the like bottoms of these graphs to just indicate some expenses and some like earnings or so on. So I think we will just focus on expenses, create such a dot, and we can also add a small shadow which is white to give it a glow. Like in Photoshop this would be called like outer glow or something like that, but in this tutorial in Sketch it's actually called just shadow, and it's looking like this. So simply select your dot and paste it onto the next position. This keystroke app is kind of funny because it's really showing a lot of the keystrokes. So like that, paste it again. Oh, Siri just went on. I don't know why. Okay, sorry. So yeah, these are the indicators, the dots, which we are going to work with. And we are going to write down some numbers at these points. So hit T, create a new text layer. And as I said, we are focusing on expenses. So what we're going to do is to just like create random numbers, random amounts of money, which we will add to these lines. So yeah, just go for whatever amount you would like to display right here. Just like that. And the keystrokes are going crazy. They're actually so funny. Look at how many of these keystrokes are showing. I don't know, guys. I have to figure out if it's possible to limit it to a certain amount of keystrokes showing. But I think for the purpose of this tutorial, we can work with it. Sorry. Okay. So just add certain amounts of money. So we have some oops. So we have some like diversity right here, not always showing the same amount. And make sure to align them in the center so that we don't have to reposition them again and again. And yeah, what you also have to think about is that the expenses at the top at these peaks should like be higher than the expenses at the bottom. So maybe we can work with like $4 right there and like $5 right here. Of course, this isn't 100% right, but I think you get the idea. So yeah, just add whatever amount. Okay, just like that. It's just about showing you how to work with graphs and how to like incorporate them into your design. The next layer which we're going to create is a copy of our overlay. So copy the overlay, paste it, and reduce the size. And it should have a different red color. Could make it darker or whiter, lighter, and about like that. Yeah, I think that looks kind of good. And in this area right here, we are going to add some more details about the expenses, which will in the end be what you like purchased in the last week, in the last month, and your expenses for the last year. So I think I'm simply copying one of the values at the top, which is like this. This is the last week. Then we have in the center area the last month, and this is the last year. So okay, this one right here should be aligned to the right side. This one should be aligned to the left side. In the last week, we had $23. In the last month, let's say we have $440, and in the last year we had like $5,203. And simply copy these layers and paste them below your values, because I would like to write down this is the last week. The next layer is the last month, and this is the last this is the last year. And we are changing the font size, so just about like that, make it smaller. And I would like to position them like that. Make sure that all of these values and so on all aligned correctly. Just like that. Okay, below these values I would like to display a like bar which is indicating on, or like in comparison to like the most expenses we had, on which percentage this value is. So let's open up this folder and let's say we are going to create a new line. Hit L, and this is the line. So this line will be white, and we can change the color and or change the opacity just to about 50% and copy it and paste it. Change it to 100%, but change the length. So so we have to change it up. You saw that there were some small problems, and this is because if I change the length, you will see that it's changing from, no, actually it's working fine. Okay, so I guess we have to just copy it and paste it again. Change the opacity to 100% and reduce the size a little bit. So imagine this would be 50% of this line, about like this, which would mean the highest value of one of the weeks was $46. So this was like at 50%, as I said, and we are creating a new oval. Hit O, without a border, and it's going to be displayed just right here. We can actually also just copy one of the ovals which we worked with before. Simply change the size, and they already have this glow, which is nice for our design purpose. So there we have it. Let's now copy these lines and the oval and position them in the center, because it's going to be a line which is available for like every month. We can increase the size to about like this. And so you see it's almost 100%. So the highest expenses of one of the months was maybe like $500. We're going to do the same with the last value position. And we are also positioning our oval just like that. So we have some indicators right there. I would like to reposition these values. So select all of them but the background and simply drag them to about this position. So yeah, just like that. Okay, so this is the top area. Now I'm going to show it to you how it looks if we have the whole screen visible. And I would like to add some more credit card information. I already told you this before, that we are going to work with credit card information. And we have 3 rows in this bottom area, which is white currently. The first row will be a search bar, which will help you to search for your credit cards. Maybe you have, I think we can display 2 of them, but if you have like 5 or whatever, then you can search for them. And we are going to start with that right now. So this is the top area. And I'm going to open up a new icon set, which is the material design icon set. I can give you a little tip. You can hit merge all windows, which will help you to just have a tabbed view of your app. I already made a video about that. It's one of the best features of macOS Sierra, and it helps you so much without navigating between windows. I know very often we have so many windows open up as designers, and this is really helping a lot. So this is the first one. I'm going to give it the same color as the background, which is red, of course, and boom, drag it over to this left position. Then create a new text layer and call it Search Now. Also, same color as the background. And we can increase the size of our text a little bit, like that. Maybe let's change the size of our magnifying icon. And position it like that. We are adding a new line to separate it from the rest. And it will be gray, but I'm going to change the opacity, just like that. And at the bottom, as I said, we are going to add some information about the credit cards. So let's open up a new browser window, because I need some credit card, MasterCard logos. So we are going to add a MasterCard and Visa logo. So I guess this is the new one, right? So we go this, and we need the Visa logo, which, I don't know, is this the current one? Maybe this isn't the current one, or maybe we find one with which has a higher resolution. And we are going to choose I need a higher resolution logo. Like, I think we are just going to use this one. I don't know, maybe it's not the correct one. Whatever. Just pasting both of them into our design. Boom. And changing up the width and the height. So yeah, I'm going to start with the MasterCard logo, and it will be positioned about right there. And right now I'm simply just positioning it to the correct position. Positioning it to the correct position, yeah, whatever. MasterCard should be like dark black actually, and shouldn't be aligned to the right but aligned to the left. And giving it a small subtitle, electronics, changing the width to medium, and also changing the size a little bit like that. So this is the first card. and I'm copying the MasterCard title because we are going to add a new amount of money, which is one of the expenses or whatever. Just around like that. Increase the size. Center it up like that. Okay, so we are going to copy the search. We are going to copy the line again after I sorted all the layers. And now we need to copy like all of that and paste it below, because we are now just changing the logos and replacing the text. So get this logo in the correct position, just about like that. And let's change the size to like that. Hide the logo. But at first, let's just make sure it's centered. Now this is Visa Classic Electronics, and I would also just like to change up the amount of money we spent, like that. Okay. So this, guys, is the first of 2 tutorials about working with graphs. I hope you enjoyed it. If you enjoyed it, hit the thumb up button or subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Thanks, guys, for the time. I hope you like it. You can also download it below if you want to look at all the layers and so on, if you want to work with this file. It's linked down below for you to download for free. And I just want to thank you for being part of this journey, being part of this community. Thanks. And of course, let's go back on Wednesday, open up the channel and see what other video tutorial we are creating, which will also be about crafts. So I think it will be great. Have a look at that. And yeah, just thanks. This video was sponsored by Dev Mountain. If any of you are interested in learning UX design, Dev Mountain is a 12-week design bootcamp intended to get you a full-time job in the industry. You can learn more about this at devmountain.com or by clicking the link in the video description. Thanks for watching the video, and we see us in the next one. Bye!